Hello and welcome to another episode of the Alter Your Health podcast, a Wisdom Wednesday episode. I'm Dr. Susanna Alter.
And I'm Dr. Ben Alter.
And we're both naturopathic doctors who support individuals in reversing disease and reclaiming optimal health through whole food plant-based nutrition and mind-body medicine.
So today is a special edition of Wisdom Wednesday. This week on Medicinal Monday.
Yesterday,
which was actually a day late for Medicinal Monday, but we announced that we're going to be starting a new series called Alter Your Health from Head to Toe. That's going to be taking place on Medicinal Monday. And here on Wisdom Wednesday, we are going to be following up on that Alter Your Health from Head to Toe series by talking about the spiritual opportunities from the physical symptoms that we're healing going through head to toe. So on Medicinal Monday, we're going to be talking about optimizing our health from head to toe through whole food plant-based nutrition and lifestyle medicine. And on Wisdom Wednesday throughout this series, we're going to be talking about our physical symptoms as spiritual opportunities. So I'm really looking forward to it. And today, we're going to just do a little bit of an overview, provide some context for where we'll be coming from throughout the weeks and months ahead, because I think that this series is going to take some time to make our way through the entirety of our physical body.
Right. Yeah, and why these Wisdom Wednesday episodes are going to be also a very important addition to the Head to Toe series is because, we've seen so commonly in the work that we do, sometimes there's a client who does everything they can in their power to really optimize all the physical aspects of creating that strong foundation of health. Maybe they're taking some additional nutrients or supportive supplements to help the resolution of a physical issue.
Yeah.
But there might still be some kind of mental pattern, some kind of mental insecurity, disbelief, some kind of source of stress coming from the thought realm that is really presenting as the main obstacle that gets in the way of them actually resolving that symptom.
So what do we do about that? What do we do about that mental, energetic, emotional blockage or obstacle? I think that it's helpful to consider how we relate to that is in fact the issue. So the judgments and the thoughts that we have about the symptom are the issue that are potentially exacerbating that symptom. So yes, these Wisdom Wednesday episodes are intended to provide a little bit of a shift in perspective and hopefully new insights in how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to our physical symptoms, and how we relate and understand ourselves going through the healing process.
Right. Yeah. And so how we're going to approach this is, by actually referring to some helpful resources from, some experts in the kind of mind-body world. And we'll be referring to certain books and texts that talk about that specific mind-body connection between specific organs and the mind. Maybe you've heard some types of trends like, thyroid issues. Does that person have an issue with communication?
Fifth chakra.
The fifth chakra. Yes, maybe you're familiar with the energy centers, the chakras. And so we are going to bring in some more kind of philosophical kind of perspectives.
Or metaphysical. Beyond our physical understanding, but still very much real in terms of what we experience and observe.
Yeah. And we'll still be talking about all of this through the lens of understanding mind, thought, and consciousness and the human experience. And if it's okay with you, can I bring up an example from my own personal experience?
We'll bring up an example because, of course, this edition of Wisdom Wednesday is just kind of setting the stage for the weeks to come. You've got a book here that is a great little reference resource that you and I have both been introduced to before, long before we met.
Yes.
And this is the work of Louise Hay. And what's the name of it again?
It's called You Can Heal Your Life.
You Can Heal Your Life. And it's like a reference book.
Yes.
If people haven't seen this book before, if you're looking at it.
Mine is well loved, obviously.
Well loved. And, there's some tables and charts, and that's what you're looking at here.
Right. And we won't only be looking at this book. I mean, there's other experts like Carolyn Miss, and we've got a few more back there on our shelf we'll be referring to kind of, bring in different perspectives on kind of energetic underlying causes that can be related to physical issues. But I just wanted to bring an example because from my own experience, when I was dealing with a lot of my health issues, one of my main symptoms was acne, adult acne. It came back to rear its ugly head when I was about 21, 22.
That's not really an adult. I mean, well,
but it wasn't due to like puberty or anything, I was well past puberty.
Okay.
So anyway, I was dealing with acne, horrible acne, and I was doing everything I could physically. I was cleaning up my diet. I was looking at optimizing gut health. I was also taking care of my skin properly, externally, topically. And so that's the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about on the Medicinal Monday portion of the Alter Your Health from Head to Toe podcast. We're going to be talking about all the physical stuff. But what I also did to support my process in healing was a friend had just given me this book, and I looked up acne in the table here, and it said probable cause, like probable energetic cause. Not accepting the self, dislike of the self. And actually, Louise Hay is really big on affirmations. And what's going to be different in these Wisdom Wednesday episodes is that rather than talking about, oh yeah, just say this affirmation to yourself over and over again, we're really going to be talking about, if someone does have a dislike of the self, or someone is having insecure issues, really a different angle, different lens to look at, okay, what is that insecurity? What is that actually coming from? And essentially bringing it to, a perspective that can help us to see through it all and transcend it all.
In other words, the insecurity, or like this example, the dislike of self, is that what it said?
Yeah, dislike of self.
So the dislike of self is not due to a deficiency of affirmations. It's not like we have a tendency to dislike ourselves or criticize ourselves or have insecurity because we're not saying enough affirmations. But of course, we know that the dislike of self can come from the insecure thoughts that we take seriously. And we can just be more of a curious observer of those thoughts and think, oh, that's kind of silly. How can I dislike myself? I'm like this perfect creation of divine spirit energy, and like disliking myself is kind of silly because I'm here, and if I'm here, I must have a purpose. I must have power and potential, and disliking myself is not serving anyone or anything, including myself.
Exactly.
Or the rest of the world.
Exactly. Yes. And so, a little disclaimer here, we're not saying that, the cause of all acne is dislike of self. But for some people, doing a little bit of this self-inquiry and kind of having these, for me, it was really helpful to read this when I was going through my acne episode of life, because at that point I hadn't really considered my level of self-love or self-hate. And the truth was, I did have a lot of self-hate at that period. So I was grateful that this book kind of pointed that out to me, that, wow, I guess in addition to having some of these physical issues, there is some emotional stuff or some mental stuff that I can take a look at and resolve.
There always is. There always is. And that's why the title of this episode is The Physical Symptoms as Spiritual Opportunities, because there always are opportunities. Even when the physical symptom is some acute sprained ankle or something like that, the spiritual opportunity is to take care of yourself, or to slow down, or to rest, or to change perspective in how we're walking. And there's always something that we can appreciate out of our quote unquote physical symptoms or suffering. And as we shift our perspective, things kind of loosen up, and the physical symptoms tend to resolve with more grace and ease. But I think it's, like you said, important to point out that sometimes sometimes you use the terminology that you learn from a mentor, like the original cause.
Mhm.
And sometimes the original cause of physical symptoms is, emotional or energetic in nature. Sometimes the original cause of physical symptoms is just physiologic or nutritional or toxic, or toxicity based. But I would guess that most of the time the original cause is multifactorial, in terms of having the physical, nutritional, structural, whatever component, as well as the energetic, emotional. So why not consider looking in both directions? And of course, we live in a world, and we oftentimes operate in a system where the emotional and the energetic is completely neglected most of the time, or just put off, like, oh, talk about that with that person, or talk about that with a counselor or a psychologist, or a therapist or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, we have the opportunity, all of us individuals have the opportunity to be there for ourselves, and in ways, of course, physically, to nourish ourselves and take care of ourselves and make good habits and choices, as well as have a healthy outlook and perspective and state of mind that nourishes our soul.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Exactly.
so I guess that's a good enough introduction for what we're doing in the weeks and months ahead.
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I like want to fast forward to next Monday so we can just get started.
Yeah,
But
we will be. Susanna wanted to start with hair. So next Monday we're going to be
that's
talking
what's
about
on our head.
that's what's on our head. We're going to be altering our health from head to toe, starting with the top of our head, the hair on our head, and talking about taking care of our hair. And then, of course, next Wednesday, on Wisdom Wednesday, we're going to talk about spiritual opportunities and emotional opportunities and perspective of relating with hair issues.
It's interesting. I feel like the last 4 or 5 people I've met with recently in meetings have all complained of hair issues, brittle hair, hair falling out.
It's a
So
common
it's
thing.
really interesting.
It's a common thing. So we're going
Yeah.
to be addressing it from both the physical, physiologic, nutritional, lifestyle, as well as energetic, emotional.
Mhm.
So, any other announcements before we sign off for today?
That's it.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Peace and love, you guys.
Bye for now.